Good day, everyone. I'm Epradri Baguio with my co-reporter Judy Ann Samarca. We're going to discuss the food safety and sanitation. So as you grow this lesson, you are expected to describe steps to prevent food poisoning and foodborne disease in the following areas: personal hygiene, food handling and storage techniques, cleaning and sanitizing, procedures, and pest control. The second one, explain the importance of fire safety equipment, and emergency procedures, and create a problem solution chart to identify each type of hazards, and then provide solutions to prevent the contaminations. Food safety and sanitation. Food safety and sanitation. So, the contamination basics. Foodborne illnesses kill thousands of people each year and many more people sick, and that's true. For this reason, food service professionals need to know how to create a clean, safe, disease-free place that can be used for food preparation. They also need to know how to prevent and properly respond to foodborne illness outbreaks. So when consumers eat out, they expect the food to be prepared and served in a sanitary environment which it means clean. When harmful microorganisms or substances are present in food, the food is contaminated. Contaminated food is food that is unfit to be eaten. And eating contaminated food can make you sick and may even cause of death. And that's true. So we go for the direct contamination. It is happens when raw foods or the plants or animals from which they come are exposed to harmful microorganisms. And it occurs when one type of food touches or drips onto another type of food, which may be raw or cooked. So for cross-contamination is the movement of harmful microorganisms from one place to another. People cause most cases of cross-contamination. So for example, handling foods after using the toilet without first properly washing hands. O kanang gikan kag CR, then gunit kag mga handling foods or equipment, then wala kag gikan na hugas. It's called cross-contamination. The second example is touching raw meat and then preparing vegetables without washing your hands. Gikan ka ning gunit og kanang karne, then gunit apog ka kanang mga gulay, wala ka nang hugas gikan. It's called cross contamination. Next, food service workers must be considered direct contamination and cross contamination. They must practice proper sanitation techniques. Will it means healthy or clean and whole. In the workplace, sanitation means healthy and sanitary conditions. Food service workers have a responsibility to prepare food in a sanitary environment. In the food service industry, workers need to know the different types of food hazard, and we all know that hazard is a source of energy. These hazards are biological, chemical, and physical. And any of these hazards can result or have an outcome in contaminated food. So, biological hazards. Biological hazards come from microorganisms such as bacteria. Other types of biological hazards include viruses, parasites, and fungi. Certain plants and fish can also carry harmful toxins, and a toxin is a harmful organism or substance. However, disease-causing microorganism called pathogen. So, ang katong disease nga nagka-cause og microorganism is, ang tawag ana is pathogens. It causes the majority of foodborne illness. So, foodborne illness, microorganism can grow in and on food when it's not handled properly. Other conditions that can lead to foodborne illness outbreaks are cross-contamination, poor personal hygiene, and food-handled illness. So, for example, uncooked meats that are stored above cooked meats in the refrigerator can cause cross-contamination. Because, why? The uncooked meat may drip or ang katong tulo sa katong dili luto na meat is maadto sa luto na napagkaon. Next one is bacteria. Tiny single-celled microorganisms are called bacteria. Some forms of bacteria can make people very sick if they are eaten. People who have bacterial illness may have symptoms such as nausea, abdominal pain, and vomiting. Excuse me. Other symptoms include dizziness, chills, and headache. Bacteria multiply very quickly under the right condition, and that's true. So these are the conditions that support the growth of microbial pathogens. It's called phathom. The first one is food. Pathogens need a source of food, especially proteins or carbohydrates, which are readily available in many of the foods you serve. So in order to grow, multiply, in some cases, produce toxins. Second one is acidity. Pathogens grow best in foods with low acidity. So nagagrow siya og kanang kuan if low lang ang acidity. So ingredients like lemon or tomato can make the food too acidic for rapid growth of pathogens. The third one is time. Pathogens need time to grow. A single bacterium can multiply over 1 million bacteria in 10 hours. The fourth one is temperature. Pathogens grow best between 5 degrees Celsius and 57 degrees Celsius, the danger zone. The fifth one is oxygen. Some pathogens need oxygen. So, because their methods of energy production and respiration depend the transfer of electrons to oxygen. The last one is moisture. Pathogens need moisture to grow because they grow on foods with high moisture content such as chicken. And take note, phathom is a mnemonic device used in the food service industry to describe the 6 favorable conditions required for the growth of foreign-born pathogens. The next one is a chart with illness cause, symptoms, and food involved. I-zoom lang ninyo if dili makita. Okay, for the first illness cause, Salmonellosis bacteria is search lang ninyo if kung saan siya pag right na salty. So the symptoms is cramps, nausea, headache, fever, diarrhea, and vomiting. So ang foods na involve ani na illness is poultry and poultry products, eggs, meat and meat products, fish, dairy products, protein foods, and fish produce. The second one is Campylobacter jejuni. So the symptoms is nausea, vomiting, fever, diarrhea, abdominal pain, headache, and muscle pain. So ang foods na involve ani na illness is meats and poultry, unpasteurized milk and dairy products. So the third one is hepatitis A virus. The symptoms is fatigue, discomfort, fever, headache, nausea, loss of appetite, vomiting, and vomiting. And foods involved is water, ice, salads, cold cuts, sandwiches, shellfish, fruits, fruit juices, milk, and milk products, vegetables. So the fourth one is Norwalk virus. The symptoms is cramps, nausea, headache, fever, and vomiting. Foods involves water, raw vegetables, fish, fruit, salads, and shellfish. Then trichinosis parasites. The symptoms is abdominal pain, nausea, diarrhea, fever, swelling around eyes, thirst, sweating, chills, fatigue, and hemorrhaging. The foods involved is pork, non-pork sausages, and wild game. Next is Shigellosis bacteria. The symptoms are abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, fever, and dehydration. Foods involves protein salads, lettuce, raw vegetables, poultry, shrimp, milk, and milk products. Lister- listerio- lister- Listeriosis bacteria, headache, fever, chills, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, backache, meningitis, and encephalitis. The food involves is ice cream, frozen yogurt, unpasteurized milk, and cheese, raw vegetables, poultry, meat, and seafood. And next, rotavirus. The symptoms are abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, and mild fever. And the food involved is water, ice, salads, fruits, and herbivores. Next is Anisakiasis, Anisakiasis parasites. The symptoms is tingling in throat, abdominal pain, coughing up upworms, cramping, vomiting, and nausea. Food involved is fish and seafood. Next is Yergiasis parasites. Symptoms, cramps, nausea, intestinal gas, fatigue, loss of weight. Then, ang foods na involve ani is water, ice, and salads. Next is botulism bacteria. The symptoms is constipation and diarrhea, vomiting, fatigue, vertigo, double vision, dry mouth, paralysis, and death. So, the foods involved the under-processed foods, canned low-acid food, sauced onions and butter sauce, baked potatoes, and untreated garlic and oil products. E. coli bacteria, the symptoms is severe abdominal cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, mild fever, and kidney failure. Food involves raw ground beef, undercooked meat, unpasteurized milk, and apple cider or juice, mayonnaise, lettuce, melons, fish from contaminated water. And the last one is Staphylococcus aureus bacteria. The symptoms is nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. The foods involved is handmade items that do not require cooking, such as sliced meats, puddings, and sandwiches. Next, viruses. So a simple organism that causes many food-related illness are called viruses. Viruses needs a host or another living cell to grow. A host can be a person, animal, or plant. Once ang host is na siya sa sulod, the virus can multiply. Like bacteria, viruses can survive freezing and cooking. It is easy to transmit or spread viruses from person to person. Also, they usually contaminate food when ang mga food service worker uses poor hygiene. And the second one is parasites. A parasite is an organism that must live in or on a host to survive. Parasites are larger than bacteria and viruses. Parasites are often found in poultry, fish, and meats. Some common parasites found in food include protozoa, roundworms, and flatworms. And ma-eliminated lang ni siya if you're going to follow proper cooking methods. For example, freezing food product for a number of days, it can destroy parasites. Also, poultry, fish, and meats should be cooked until the minimum internal temperature is reached. And remember, if the parasites are not eliminated, they can infect anyone who eats the contaminated food. The third one is fungi, spore-producing organisms found in soil, plants, animals, water, and in the air are called fungi. Fungi also are naturally present in some foods. Some fungi can be large, such as mushrooms. Some fungi can be eaten while others cannot. So, ang uban makaon, ang uban po dili. Eating some fungi can cause stomach problems or even death. The fourth one is molds. A mold is a form of fungus. The fuzzy-looking spores produced by molds can be seen with the naked eye. Molds can grow at nearly any temperature even if only part of a food has mold. The whole thing should be thrown away. although some cheeses can be saved. And the last one is yeast. So another form of fungus is yeast. Yeast is the most often associated with bread and baking process. So kasagaran makita na tong yeast if maghimog mga cake, pan, ana. In this case, yeast is helpful. However, if yeast is present in other foods such as sauerkraut, honey, and jelly, it can cause this food to spoil. So for sanitation, it will be discussed by Judy Ann Samarca. Thank you.